and this went on for way too long. Hi, my name is Lacey, and welcome to my recap of episode 15 of Love Island UK Summer 2023. What is it? Episode 14 was Unseen Bits. I'm not doing that. And the next one, episode 16, is After Sun. So I'm going to skip that one and go to 17 next. So don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when that one's live. Last real episode, Andre and Charlotte got dumped. And so here we are at the aftermath, and everybody is very, very sad. And Catherine's crying, and Andre and Charlotte leave and say their goodbyes. Scott, the new bombshell, checks in with Catherine, and he says that he's not going to push her or ask her or flirt with her or try anything tonight because he understands she's upset and he wants to give her time to sleep on it and feel better in the morning. Zach and Molly check in, and Zach is saying how being in the bottom three affected him and how it opened his eyes and it was a wake-up call, and he doesn't want to miss out on any time spent with Molly, and he's very happy to still be there with her. Whitney and Meddy check in, and somebody comes over and asks where Catherine is, and Whitney says, oh, I think, she's with Scott, and oh, maybe they're up on the terrace. And then Whitney jokes to Meddy that he could take her up to the terrace. Whitney wants some. Meddy better give it. She giggles because she's flirty and fun, and they end up changing the subject. But I think Whitney is giving Meddy the okay to go a little bit faster and maybe make a move. Jess and Sam. I still don't like Sam, but he says that he's all in with Jess, and when he was in the bottom three, he wasn't even thinking about Leah, probably because she was also in the bottom three. So he was thinking, shoot, I need to pick somebody who's safe. Jess. That's how he's thinking of Jess. And Jess is happy about it because she is buying what he's selling, and she says, oh, so are you going to tell Leah? And he says, yeah. I'll believe that when I see it. Sam. But they end up smooching, and I'm just worried for Jess. The going to bed montage, Leah says that she kind of is into Scott, but he is kind of hitting it off with Catherine, so I don't really see that happening. I got my eye on you. We'll see. And Ella and Tyreek decide to go and sleep on the day beds because Tyreek is paired up with Leah. So they go outside and sleep on the day beds so that they can be together. The next day, Catherine tells the girls that she's still sad that Andre left, but the only other guy she's feeling is Scott. Sam says he's not worried about Mitch stealing Jess from him. Jess tells Ella and Catherine about what happened with Sammy and the smooch and how he decided that Jess was the one. And Ella and Catherine are like, girl, you keep your eye on him because he's just into you because you were safe. Ella's got eyes on Sammy, and I love that for Jess, that she's got a close friend in Ella. Catherine and Scott have another conversation, and they're talking about their past and their history and their love lives, and how Catherine only had situationships and how Scott has only had one previous relationship. And while they're talking, Meddy decides to give Whitney a very sexy, confusing massage with tanning lotion or suntan lotion. I don't know what he was putting on her, but he was giving her a massage. And this went on for way too long. And Whitney was enjoying herself. Good for you. But this just went on for way too long. And I was like, I don't need to watch Meddy massage Whitney for 10 minutes. I don't need it. Mitch and Leah have a conversation because really they're the only people each other has left. It's unremarkable. Scott and Ella talk, and Scott's mostly talking about the other girls and how he likes Catherine and how he likes Leah. And Ella's kind of given him some pointers, some tips, and just being a friend. And meanwhile, Tyreek is watching this with stank face. He is mad about it, and he's trying to play it cool, yeah, well, I did it, so she's just rubbing it in my face, because I did it. And it's just no, she's not doing anything. She's just talking to somebody, so you need to chill. And also, he was actively flirting with Leah the whole time Ella was trying to get him to focus on her. He can back the fuck off. Fuck off! So when Ella comes back over to the group where Tyreek is, it's Sammy, Jess, Tyreek, and now Ella, and I think Mitchell's there, but he doesn't really say much, so it's irrelevant. Somebody says, oh, is this honesty hour? And Tyreek says that he thinks Leah is better with Sammy in front of Jess. Ella says that she thinks Sam is using Jess because Jess was safe. Tyreek says he thinks that Ella is using Scott to wind him up. And then Jess chimes in with Ella wasn't doing anything wrong. She was just being polite and talking to Scott when he pulled her. So what is she going to do? Be like, no, I can't talk to you. Oh my God. So Jess was like, no, be quiet, Tyreek. And Ella was saying that kind of the same thing. Like, hey, Scott was backing you, Tyreek. So leave it. Randomly during the day, there's a text. I got a text. And there is a day surprise recoupling. I think it's because there are so many singles and everybody's just nobody is in the couple that they should be. So I think the producers were like, okay, let's just fix this real quick and then make it so like it's not so random. And it is the guy's choice for the recoupling. Zach picks Molly, because obviously, and this is the first time they actually finally get to share a bed together. Meddy picks Whitney, and she starts giggling because he says this really nice speech, and she's just embarrassed because she is kind of like, I don't know how to take a compliment. Sam picks Jess because he says he knows what he wants, and he is no longer looking for a test. Mitch picks Leah, but his speech was like, it was cringe. Like, he's like, oh yeah, we've had some chats, and hopefully she's open to getting to know me, and she has a great body as well. I mean, thanks, but I don't know, a little shallow. In the la low. Tyreek picks Ella, and during which they play a slowed down cover of Nothing's Gonna Stop Us from Mannequin, and I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, the 80s have returned. Or I guess I never left. I'm old. And lastly, Scott picks Catherine, but I think that's he might have picked her anyway. I think for him it was between Catherine and Leah. So I think he would have probably picked Catherine given that they've talked so much. So I think that they ended up where they were supposed to. After the recoupling, Leah is actually really sad and really hurt and very upset. And I initially thought it was because just Mitchell was being kind of a douche, but it was because Sammy was being a douche. And he did not tell Leah that he was all in with Jess until he said it in front of everybody at the recoupling. So she's like, oh, news to me. Thanks for letting me know. So she was very embarrassed and very hurt. And the fact that he called her like, oh, she was nothing but a test, and I know what I want now, especially after he was like flirting with her so much and saying like, oh, you can eat me and stuff, like, So I get that she's really upset and hurt with the way that Sammy portrayed her at the recoupling, especially given that he didn't talk to her first before he told this in front of everybody. There's a night montage. In the evening, Meddy talks to Whitney, and Meddy kind of comes at it in a little aggressive, but he says that he didn't like the way she was giggling during his speech during the recoupling. And she said, oh, well, I was giggling because I was embarrassed and I like you and I didn't know how to react, and it was a good thing, trust me. And I am glad they squashed it kind of like right then and there. And he does come at it a little forceful, but they squashed it and it seems like they're moving on. Leah confides in Ella that Sammy was leading her on a lot more than he made it out to seem to Jess. So Leah knows what she's doing, and she's like, okay, I know that I'm telling Ella, and Ella's gonna go and report back to Jess, so she kind of gets a heads up, and then, we'll probably all talk. And so Leah just tells Ella, like, Sammy was flirting, he was telling me he was open, and I was really hurt by this whole test thing, and I was hurt that he didn't tell me ahead of time before the recoupling. Leah pulls Sam to have the actual conversation with him to tell him how much he hurt her at the recoupling. He's a tool. I don't like him still. He's just going lower and lower in my opinion. She says, I'm a human being. I have feelings. And he says, oh, I'm sure you do, but that's not my problem. I don't have to apologize for anything. Excuse me, that's not my problem? Rude! I would have slapped his ass. Ugh. He said he doesn't know what he did wrong. He said he wanted to explore her, but he prefers Jess. And then he says that she's just mad because he didn't pick her at the recoupling. Bullshit. Bullshit. Nobody's gonna want you, Sammy. Get out of here. I wrote down, he's a waste of space. I love Jess so much. Jess and Leah talk, and they're in front of like Molly and Catherine. Other people are there. Other girls are there. And Leah explains how she's feeling and how she felt more led on by Sammy than he's kind of showing. And Jess is like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry you feel this way. I'm sorry he did this to you. I'm gonna go have a chat with him. I just love Jess. I love Jess so much. She's got a good head. While the girls are chatting, before Jess sees Sammy, Zachariah, Tyreek, and Sammy are talking, and Zachariah's talking about how he read a book about taking accountability, and Sammy's like, what's that? And both Zachariah and Tyreek know that it's taking responsibility for your actions and apologizing. So it's kind of interesting that these two boys at least know what accountability is. Their actions prove otherwise. In this conversation, the guys, Tyreek and Zachariah, also say, hey, think about it from Leah's perspective. She had a rough day. Her friend left and all this stuff. And Sammy's like, I don't owe her anything. And it's like, Sammy is such a douche. Douche. Now the final round. Jess and Sammy talk. And Jess says, hey, it seems like you were being dishonest with me. And Sammy's like, no, I gave her 100% and I gave you 100%. What's the problem? I preferred you. She's just mad that I didn't pick her. And Jess is like, yeah, but you told me you were all about me the other day, and that and then you continued to flirt with Leah and continued to lead her on. So much so that she was shell-shocked at the recoupling and actually had her feelings hurt. Sammy gets up and he's like, everybody's just making me out to be a bad guy. He's just a baby. He's just a baby. And he ends up getting mad and storms away, leaving Jess like, okay? I hope this is a wake-up call for Jess, and I hope she tears him down in the next episode. I know she has it in her. I know she has it in her. Ella and Catherine, get her back and give her the push she needs to send Sammy to the curb, to the doghouse, to the daybeds. Get. So what did you think of Love Island episode 15? What did you think of the recoupling? What did you think of Sammy and his moves? So leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, if you're into Temptation Island, Love Always, or The Big D, I'm recapping those as well, so check out my playlists after this one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.